big round of applause.
So thank you so much. I will just let the technicians know if you have connected it and you can see the right screen. It's coming. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a great pleasure. I am the co-founder and CTIO of Be Healthy Asia. I also have some other roles where I work for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Middle East. I have been doing some of the virtual care strategies and doing the Vision 2030 projects in the health domain. I'm the co-founder of a not-for-profit foundation called Data for Good that is building a privacy-preserving blockchain that enables people to securely and anonymously share their private health data. This is a big issue about sharing your private health data to, let's say, insurance companies, and then later you don't get an insurance, so it's a trust issue we are solving and are now deploying in different services around. It's a world's first using a very advanced secure multi-party computation. I have then 2 EU research projects. It's with integrated care for chronic diseases where I'm procuring about 500 million Thai baht of solutions in 2 EU-funded projects where I'm the expert. All this knowledge has been transferred into the services you're now going to see that what we are trying to procure in Europe, actually we are doing in Asia right now. So they're just doing what we have been doing for some years now together with my CEO, Khun Tak. I will come with a warning now. The next slide, you will see something very unpleasant. So I'm really sorry for this. It is me when I was 42 years old. I was fat. I smoked cigarettes. I had too many kids. This is a typical lifespan of a Danish middle-aged guy that at that time didn't listen to all the great speakers that have been here, especially our own advisor, Dr. Christoffer Jensen. I had a number I found in my medical records. I had not a clue what this number means. Do you know what this number means? No, I will explain in a minute. Can anyone tell me what is the formula down here? It's called C5580406. Well, that is the formula for body fat. It sits right here on middle-aged men, unless they have done something about it. Khun Tak, now you know. You can also wonder what happens when you lose weight, where it goes. You can think about that while I speak. But anyway, as you know, I'm a tech guy. So even in my summer house in Denmark, it's equipped with all kinds of devices. And my son, who is here outside at the Be Healthy booth, he has diabetes 1, so I could monitor him and tell him through the surveillance cameras from Google that had AI recognition. This is back in 2014. Okay? 15, I think. And I could see him if he was sitting playing and forgot to take his insulin. That's very smart. But the main part here is that we create a lot of data. Data that can be used for many purposes and abused. But I like to take the good side of data because they actually give us insights. I can look after my kid with diabetes 1. I also did what everybody do, in different phases of my life. Do you know what mammal is? Anyone knows? Well, I will explain to you. It's called middle-aged men in Lycra. Lycra is a bicycle clothes that is like plastic. And then we look like this. When we become around 40, 50, we get scared about what will happen to us. So we buy a super expensive bike. This is our former Prime Minister and current Minister of Foreign Affairs here, and my good friend, former colleague of Denmark. And I have also been cycling with the former, I got this super bike from Bjarne Riis, who won Tour de France, the last winner of the Tour de France. We have a new one, he's called Jonas Vingegaard, but this is the last one. And this was the mammal phase. You can see it around the airport. All the fancy bikes they ride cost 250,000 baht, and they come out and run about 200 kilometers per year. That is mammals. They are everywhere. I'm one of them. So now you know. And I did this. First I did this. You remember the old time? Remember it, right? And now the second, this is a new time. The Instagram running, Facebook running. That Thais love this one. Doesn't care about they've run 1 kilometer, but it's on Instagram and they look like they've been a marathon, right? But it doesn't work because that number 47, it is a measurement for my HbA1c, my long-term glucose. When you're in the yellow, you're pre-diabetic. If I have known that I had pre-diabetes, nobody told me. It's in the data systems, but the doctor doesn't tell you. They just take the lab because they're supposed to do it once a year, and they don't tell you about it in the public healthcare system. It was here. We have a health portal. You know, in Denmark, you can get divorced digitally in 2 minutes. You buy a house without paper and sell it. I just tell you, because it's illegal for governments to send paper. We have no signatures and all that. It's super efficient. So I can stay in Thailand and do everything from here. Thank you for your internet. This is our health portal. It goes back to 1965, all our health data. So this is a major part of this, the data part of health. My problem was that I got diagnosed with, now I got the red one, okay? The red one means that I'm a full-blown diabetes 2 patient. And I didn't know it. I could have prevented this, but I didn't know it. This is the numbers. Now you know. Are you over 48? Between 42, 47 also have the percentage. So if you're not explained this, you will not know. How many of you know do you know your long-term glucose? Yeah, I know. Good. Yeah, take care of it. Because you don't want to go in the red zone, I will explain in a minute. Because most of us guys, we will go and eat bad food. We just heard about it. It will do bad things to us. But at least we have data that we have used our credit card to do that. So actually we can, with understanding the data from our financial transactions, unfortunately, but they're out there and they're open with APIs now, and machines are analyzing it right now. I'm doing it myself in another project. But anyway, I got diabetes 2, and luckily I could read in this very fancy medical journal that it can be eaten away. You can simply eat yourself out of diabetes 2 by eating more salmon. I think if you can eat salmon, you can eat, maybe you can eat all the politicians like that and they will go away. But, well, it didn't happen. He stayed. But he will soon be in jail. Anyway, so what I tried to do, because I don't like to have, as a patient, I don't want to, my son has diabetes 1, so I know exactly what I was going into, okay? So I was prepared. I didn't want to end up like him. So I actually did this myself. This is food I've made myself. I used to have a restaurant, so I know how to do it. I tell you, it is super hard to follow a regime where you go with a fat percentage of 23 down to 10, eating this kind of food for 3 months, no alcohol, training excessively. But when you do it and you have the data, this is my weight curve since 2011. Yes, you know, this is data, but it's very relevant. My doctor doesn't see this. So he should, because it tells me interesting. You see my fat mass goes up where I was diagnosed with diabetes. If you look down here, and if you can see it, here, sorry. So right here, something happens in my body. So this is me. Now I'm not 42. I'm 52. And I have to ask the ladies in the room, not my wife, she's also here, which version do you want? 2007 or 2017? Just ask. Do you prefer this guy? 17, okay. I will try to keep like this. It is a massive improvement you can do on your body. It doesn't take long because the garbage you put in takes you 2 weeks to actually clean up, and then it comes out a little bit better. I was pretty impressed by myself. I actually managed to try to keep this. My problem was that my problems was caused by I actually had a cancer called neuroendocrine tumor, and this is why I'm happy about Thailand has a super interesting private health sector. Because a week before they couldn't find it, they found it here in Thailand. They took it out, and they technically cured me. You don't get cured by cancer, but in this case, I'm a lucky guy because it's not aggressive, and I can live with it and die with it if I behave properly. So I have to live now with diabetes and cancer. I have to say thank you to the nurses, because one of the things they get very good at in Thailand is to come in and motivate a patient. The whole staff come in the morning and say, "Good morning, Mr. Nielsen." And then you get up. So on the day 3 after surgery, with bottles out of my body, I walked 6 kilometers because the doctor said I have to get out of bed. On day 5, I was already out having a meeting with my wife, which I didn't know at that time would be my wife, but now she is. And I haven't looked back since. And I come back to the hospital every year with a cake. And I always take the escalators down, say, stay fit, and then take the automatic escalators. Very smart. But because of the cancer, I get back into my bad numbers. And I tell you, you always hear about food, exercise, does it work? Here's the proof. When I'm lazy, look at my glucose measurements going up and down. When I exercise, inside the levels, right? So when the doctor tell you to do this, they are actually right. But how many do it? How many have trying to be like a bookkeeper, doing the same every day? I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. People need help. And it's not that I don't want to, but now I need to. And now I'm here. And I train, I bike. I'm still a mammal, but now I'm a mammal that use my bike. Okay? And actually, you should try it. I've been biking all around Thailand. You see amazing things. I hope you also soon can breathe the air in the winter when it's cold, but well, I have to get used to train when the weather is better. But what happened under COVID was that this is my story. So this is my weight. And suddenly under COVID here in Thailand, I look like this. I was down at 73 kilos. And this was then the next sign that my body gave up, and I had a liver inflammation. I had my diabetes 1 that kicked in. And during COVID, I was a little bit scared. I think as a doctor, doctors in the room will understand why. But the doctors didn't understand it, because they didn't have my history. They didn't understand. Now I can see that this is a sign of I'm turning from a diabetes 2 to a diabetes 1. It also explained all my troubles. I was fighting something that was incurable. I couldn't get rid of my diabetes 2 because it was a diabetes 1, which is incurable. You have to live with it, inject yourself insulin. But as a patient, as a user, I'm now tired of hearing everybody say, oh, we have the customer in the center of the care, like they do in Denmark, patient-centric. It's bullshit. I'm sorry to say. And I really mean it, because when you have cancer, you want the oncology specialist. When you have diabetes 1, it's very specialized. You need to talk to the diabetes doctor, the endocrinologist. But what about all the questions? When I have bad stomach, is it cancer? Is it diabetes? Who is it? Who do I ask? If I ask the oncologist, they say, oh, ask the other one. You're left by yourself or your data to find out. And this is one of the reasons that we have founded Be Healthy, is because this system has failed. The formal healthcare system doesn't work in terms of helping people living everyday life. And it is not only me who says that. A very clever woman, Anne Snowden, say that there is a big disconnect between what consumer systems do and what I as a patient, when you are as a patient do. We are trying to achieve more health and wellness. That's what I try to achieve, but I don't get my answers in a hospital system. They're not equipped to this. And secondly, I think we need to acknowledge that we need to look much more into how people are in terms of health and wellness and the quality of life goals, and we need to make sure that they are... oh, now it's very dark. Why is that? Can you see this? Oh, it's not working. Okay. So I really profoundly agree with this, and I have realized that the formal healthcare system is a standardized care pathway. You all ask the same questions. They're not using the data from my weight, all my private data, all the data that can be used. And for the diabetes area, even Novo, who is supplying me with insulin, says that only 6% is in good control. It's a data-driven intervention. Okay? Unfortunately, people think COVID was a pandemic. There has been an ongoing pandemic. And now I can proudly tell the politicians of Thailand that you are not number 1, you're only number 2 in obesity. So we are eating sugar, and Jackie, we should talk about this because I'm a diabetic and I couldn't find anything without carbohydrates out there. So it's really difficult. Okay, now I have high blood glucose, but I take it. Okay, but we should think about that to the next event to actually get in the food part, the food element of this, because food is the most vital part. But we are now getting sugar in a level like this, meaning that you will just gonna see these trends we just heard about. So what is the world I'm working in terms of handling my data? Okay, so now we go a little bit into the technologies I'm using. All of these devices you see here I'm using. I'm using the app from Be Healthy that is running there in the background. I'm using that pen that sends my data. I have my Freestyle Libre right here on my arm. I can scan and see my glucose right now. You can see it on my app. I have all this in my Apple Healthcare, and I use Calorie Mama to know how much carbs there is in food. Do you know how much carbs there is in cabbage, Dr. Chang? Do you know it? You don't care, you don't need to, but I need to. But people have surprisingly little knowledge about what's in their food, which is the most important ingredient in achieving better health. This is what you put in here. And they don't know what they put in. And we eat junk. So that's how it is. Anyway, all these data can be used for, you know that, for data and analytics. We have a platform in Be Healthy where we analyze the data, we get in, even if it's a massage intervention for office syndrome, for a knee joint operation with acupuncture. We want to know if people actually have less pain because we want to be data-driven. We want to understand with our service providers, with our franchise in Chivarak. You can visit it here. You will soon get in our app a questionnaire. You can take your blood pressure with it, and you can have a virtual care consultation because we want this to be delivered everywhere where you are. You might go to a wellness place and do a one-time thing like I did with Samitivets for my cancer, and after I left my credit card, no contact. Plenty of problems with cancer after. They don't offer anything because they don't have any tools to it. That's what Be Healthy is changing. So one of the things we are doing is putting in advanced AI on the, as I saw the video you saw before. So we are using the same technology that Apple is doing on their watch to analyze your front face using the front camera, where you can see, we can do the pulsations here. We can derive an algorithm that can very accurately, 95% accuracy in clinical grade, determine your blood pressure. Because we want to be deviceless. Nobody wants to sit here and do a blood pressure measurement with a Bluetooth device that doesn't work. So we don't want that. So we can connect, we connect through HealthKit, and then we have this. We haven't implemented in production yet because we still have issues. Every time my wife complains that after she does her foundation makeup, it doesn't work. I say, yeah, sorry, do it before makeup. Okay? It is still, needs to see what's behind, okay? Anyway, the other thing that we are working on, this is me testing a health coach, talking to her about, she's looking at my data, at one time at One Drop, and I said, yeah, the gym was closed and air pollution in Bangkok and all that. So actually, I just had bad excuse for not being compliant with my treatment. So when I look into, now I have shown some of the technologies we are working with. These are the top 10 things I think we will see coming in the wellness space in terms of wellness technologies. Especially about this is spatial computing and mindfulness using frequency therapies. We are working with a really exciting UK company that has some sound frequencies that can actually improve, have some amazing numbers on improving both sleep, stress, but also performance. We are doing a project with the Qatar Foundation now, and we hope we can add more into that. But it's fitness gamification. It's in the workplace. We're going to see it more. We're going to see especially meditation and mindfulness. The wearables going to be even more. I tell you, the next thing I'm going to introduce in Be Healthy will be taking a long-term glucose using the front camera. Yes, it's possible. We just need to improve the algorithm. Advances in virtual care, you saw how our system works, but I will, instead of talking about this, how about introduce an example of how this will work. So meet Bailey, our new virtual health coach, powered by ChatGPT.
Hello, Computer. I hope you're doing well today.
Oh,
I noticed some changes in your Be Healthy app data. Can we discuss this?
Hi, Bailey. Sure, I noticed an increase in my weight and a decrease in my activity levels too.
All right, Competa. Remember, it's normal to have some fluctuations. However, it's essential for you to maintain your meal plan and activity levels to manage your diabetes. What do you think made you stray off your plan?
I guess I've been feeling a bit unmotivated lately.
That's a common feeling, and it's okay to feel that way. But remember, managing your diabetes is a marathon, not a sprint. Every small step in the right direction counts. So why not start fresh from today?
You're right. I should get back on track.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Let's start with small, achievable goals. Let's try to do 15 minutes of walking every day and gradually increase as you feel more comfortable. How does this sound?
Sounds doable. I'll start with that. Thanks.
Great. And about your meals, let's try to focus on portion control and eating a balanced diet. Remember, in the Be Healthy app, you have some great meal suggestions that you can use. I love the salmon and asparagus one. If you are busy, you can order it from Paleo Robbie also.
Yeah, good idea. I'll pay more attention to that option. I'm grateful for your advice. See you soon. Thanks for looking out for me.
so Peter is like me, sometimes a little bit lazy, okay? That's how it is. So we need motivation. I can tell you the biggest startup in US, health coaching, food and exercise for diabetes 2 is now reimbursable. So is health coaching. So it's not only doctors. And because it's about motivational change, there's not enough health coaches to serve everyone. So that's why we are working on how to combine our real persons with virtual ones. And we're going to take it further because we think it's going to move into this.
Hi, Sarah. Now it's time for your Be Healthy de-stress session. Your HRV have been high. I will come back to you right after with your outcome. Enjoy.
So the next step is that when you have virtualized the health coaching, we can now move into the virtualized world. I'm pretty sure that you will all think, if you have seen Apple Vision Pro with spatial computing, but for me this is obvious. I'm not going to take a flight again without these things if I can afford it. Of course, it depends on if you all go and buy some packages with Be Healthy, then we can afford it. And then we will start investing in trying to develop services where you can do mindfulness, de-stress, using biofeedback from our senses inside this augmented world. This is where it's going, and we are ready for it. We are preparing our next apps into the Apple Vision Pro. We didn't do the Mark Zuckerberg one. So with this, I want to thank you for listening, but I'm not done yet. Our health coach is here.
ขอบคุณคุณ Claus ที่นำเสนอนวัตกรรมอันยอดเยี่ยมจากบริษัท Be Healthy ให้กับทุกท่านที่อยู่ใน Top Thailand Wellness World ขอบคุณทุกท่านที่ให้ฉันมีโอกาสมาร่วมพูดคุยในวันนี้นะคะในอีกไม่นานนี้จะมีเทคโนโลยีที่ช่วยให้พวกคุณสร้างดิจิตอลทวินของตัวเองได้ฉันเชื่อว่าพวกคุณน่าจะได้ใช้เทคโนโลยีนี้และพวกเราก็ตั้งตารอพบกับดิจิตอลทวินของคุณแล้วพบกันนะคะขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Bailey. And you will see more to her, and she will also, I will join her as a colleague in her virtual world, probably next week. So next year, Jackie, I will be here, but as a digital twin, I need to go Koh Samui and swim, and you can have your conference. Well, I will be here. Trust me, together with Bailey. Okay, thank you so much, Kumkumaka.